Welcome back to the Body Composition Coach podcast, and we are on episode 18, and today we are talking about probably one of my favorite subjects to talk about. The reason it's one of my favorite subjects to talk about is because it's probably the thing that I talk about the most with people when they reach out to us, even within the program. When I'm out for dinner, when I'm out for drinks, whatever I'm doing, I'm talking to people. It's probably the thing that people mention to me the most. And that is, I think my metabolism is broken, or I'm over 35, so my metabolism is worse or slower. I think my metabolism has slowed down. I genuinely hear that comment in some form, some way, every single day. That's why I like talking about it, because I'm going to tell you today, and I'll make this strong statement right at the very, very start. Your metabolism isn't broken. Your metabolism hasn't just slowed down, but I'm going to tell you what has happened, and I'm going to tell you how you can fix it. Before I even do that, before you think this is going to be one of those episodes where I say, you just need to work harder and train harder, that's not what I'm going to say. I'm going to tell you the science, I'm going to tell you what's actually happened here and how you can rectify it. Now, before I go on, please, if you enjoy the podcast, if you are taking value from the things we're talking about, the subjects we're talking about, the information we're giving you, please just take 2 minutes from your day to leave us a nice review, leave us a 5-star review, let us know that we're having an impact, let us know that we're helping to change your approach to fitness, training, nutrition, whatever it might be. Leave us some kind words. It shapes the way we run the podcast. It shapes the subjects that we talk about. So we appreciate your feedback. Let's get into this meaty subject. Often this comment comes from the older generation. And when I say the older generation, I don't mean grandmas, grandpas, whoever. I just mean anyone maybe over the age of 35, really. So anyone that's over 35 likes to pin, and I've actually heard this even from like 30-year-olds, they like to pin a lack of progress or a lack of results on their metabolism. Let's talk about what the science actually shows. There was a study done by Ponza, it's in 2021 now, and this is really popular. Everyone talks about this study just because it was probably a bit of a shock to the system for a lot of people. And the study showed us that when muscle mass is equated, and this is really, really important, when muscle mass is equated across age groups, no signs were shown that metabolism dips in any way, that your natural metabolism and the way you burn calories dips until the age of 60 plus. So if you're watching this and you're 60 plus, maybe your metabolism has slowed down, and maybe you can stop listening right now because maybe that's the answer to your problems. I doubt it. It's not going to be the only answer to your problems, but you probably have a fair case and fair point. The people that don't have a fair case and fair point is anyone else. When I made that statement, I said that it's when muscle was equated, and that's really, really important. And it leads me into the first point of this metabolism chat, because there's 3 points to this chat. 1 is muscle mass, 2 is lifestyle, and 3, I'll leave you hanging for that one. So muscle mass, let's talk about that. So when I say muscle mass was equated, what I mean by that is if you keep your same muscle mass and you make sure you hold on to your muscle mass through the age groups, then there's no change in metabolism. But what that also means is if you don't, and your muscle mass declines over that period, you may well see a downturn in your metabolism. And that's not like it's just because I'm old, I've seen a downturn in my metabolism, which is what we like to blame. It's actually a case of you lost muscle mass. That's why your metabolism is slower. And to understand metabolism, you need to understand muscle mass's role in that. Muscle mass's role in metabolism is it burns energy, muscle mass. It burns energy. It's like a furnace. Every cell in our body requires some form of energy. Even fat cells require a form of energy, but muscle mass requires more. Active muscle mass especially, and this is where a lot of people go wrong, requires even more. Muscle mass itself, if you grow like 5 or 10 pounds of muscle, which is probably going to take you a good year or more, but let's say you do grow that, it actually will only change your calorific output a day by maybe like 60 calories. It's not this thing that people think it is, that if I add 5 pounds of muscle, I'm going to be able to eat an extra 500 calories a day and not gain any weight. It doesn't work like that. What it does work is it's that small amount, so maybe 60 to maybe even up to 100 calories a day extra, which does show over time, obviously, as long as your nutrition is managed. What it also does is when you train, when you work out, when you move, it's live. Your muscle mass is live. It requires energy to do that. So your active energy is then going to increase. By having that extra muscle mass, that extra 5 or 10 pounds, your active energy will increase, and therefore it will cost you more in terms of calories to do that energy, that workout, that exercise, whatever it might be. It's not just like this furnace where you suddenly will burn an extra 500 calories just because you gain 5 or 10 pounds of muscle mass. You wouldn't just, you can't just eat what you want because you have extra muscle. When you understand muscle's role in burning calories and within the body and within metabolism, it then helps you understand how, as you lose that muscle, as you age, one, your daily output of calories will be less. But two, even when you exercise and you move, your output is less. So generally overall, you're just burning less calories every single day, no matter what you're doing, whether you're sat here like I am right now, or whether you're moving and training and working out, you're burning less calories because you have less muscle mass. The first point here is your metabolism doesn't just naturally slow down. You lost muscle. That's why your metabolism is slower, because you lost muscle. The promising thing there and the hope is you can do something about that, but you're probably going to need to act now. If you started losing muscle, you probably need to act now and do something about it. When it comes to metabolism, muscle's role is really important. You do need more muscle mass to keep your metabolism sped up, but it isn't this magic furnace. You can't just eat what you want because you have more muscle mass, but it will help and it will contribute. The second thing, which I would say it's bigger just because you have more control of it, is lifestyle. As we age, as we kind of move through schooling years, we're active, we're doing PE, we're playing with friends, we're playing football on the park. I know for me, every single day through the summer holidays with school, I was out there, I was playing football on the park. Like my life depended on it. And you will have similar memories of something that you did and how active you were. And as a child, we just have, we seem to have endless energy that we want to burn and expend. And then you move into your teen years and maybe you're still playing sport. Maybe you're out with friends still. Maybe you're still involved in activity in some way. Maybe you're training, maybe you're exercising more. Maybe you're having your fitness era. And then as responsibilities start to mount, let's say you have kids. Let's say you get a more important job or a more demanding job, maybe not important, but demanding job. Let's say your habits start to change. You start to enjoy meals out with friends more. You start to enjoy drinks with friends more. You start to enjoy sitting down more and enjoy Netflix a little bit more. All of these things start to change. And as you develop, and it's a natural process, as you develop from a child into a teen, an adolescent, into an adult, and then into an older adult, your habits generally tend to change. What we then tend to see is that, okay, your muscle mass has dropped, as we've discussed. But the second thing is you actually just move less. Whether you want to admit it or not. And I'm not just talking about the last 6 months, maybe you've exercised a bit more. Generally, over time, the law of averages, you're moving less than you were before. Your body reflects that. So the muscle mass is down, you're moving less. All of these things lead to you not, your calorie bank, let's call it, or your calorie amount being a little bit higher. Like you're not burning as much and your lifestyle has changed. That means that you're probably consuming more and therefore you're into a bit of a net positive in terms of net gain of calories. And I think one thing that's worth covering here before I move into the last part, people think that, well, I don't really, I don't eat that much and I don't really drink very often. And, I exercise a lot. Weight gain doesn't happen because you suddenly had 3,000 calories over your calories every day for the last 2 weeks and now you're suddenly obese. Weight gain almost creeps up on you. Weight gain happens over time. And this is again why when you get to your 30s and 40s, it's almost like it suddenly appeared and you've just suddenly noticed it. But weight gain compounds over time. So people might gain a couple of pounds every year or a few pounds every year for 10 years, 20 years and 30 years. And if you've gained 5 pounds a year, let's say, over 20 years, it's a lot of pounds. It's a lot of pounds. And that's when you notice the weight gain. When we're talking about this and we're talking about the minor things, 60, 100 calories here in terms of muscle mass, maybe 150 calories of active muscle use, then we're talking about, well, your lifestyle's changed a little bit. Maybe you drink a little bit more. Maybe you eat a little bit more. All of these things matter. Yes, it might only be a couple of 100 calories a day, but that compounds over time. And that's a few pounds of weight gain a year. And that over time, over years, is a lot of weight gain or a significant amount of weight gain. So the third thing, which maybe goes under the radar a little bit, the third topic that I kept under wraps earlier, is sleep and stress. Now, I've done a separate podcast on this couch, actually, about stress and the importance of it and, how we need to manage it. Something that we almost allowed to go under the radar is as you age, your stress does generally tend to increase. You have more responsibility on your shoulders, and that's why your lifestyle changed in the first place. You have more responsibility on your shoulders, and in turn, that probably means you handle situations a little bit differently. Now, stress on its own, isolated, will not make you gain weight. But stress will mean your sleep's rubbish. It will mean you make different decisions when it comes to your food, for example. And if you sleep rubbish, that will then affect your energy the next day and your choices when it comes to training, when it comes to eating. So all of these things compound. And when you tie these three things together, the loss of muscle mass, the change in your lifestyle, and then the extra stress and poor sleep that goes on top of that, which feeds into the lifestyle decisions, what you're left with is a little bit of a cocktail as to why you've gained some body fat now in your 30s and 40s that you didn't have in your teens and your 20s. But I want to give you some hope at the end here, because ultimately all of these things happened. And when you understand why they happened and what the reason for it happening was, you can actually start to do something about it. So if you know that you've lost muscle mass, you better work damn hard to build some muscle mass again. Now, that doesn't come by just flinging some weights around, or as long as you're doing like a weightlifting class at your local gym. That doesn't guarantee muscle mass. Like, you're going to have to work quite hard at this. You're going to have to be dialed in with your nutrition. You're going to have to be dialed in with your training. You're going to need to understand the principles of muscle building. It means it's reversible. It means you can gain muscle. And I don't care if you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, you can gain muscle if you understand the methods of muscle building. So that's the first thing. There's hope. You can regain some muscle and create more of a furnace within your body to burn calories. Lifestyle, completely within your control. You have to make a choice. Often one of the problems here is you're not willing to make the choice, or you're not willing to do the things required to change your lifestyle in your 30s and 40s. You might not like the result that you have right now in terms of your body. You might not like your body because of the lifestyle choices you've made, but it's up to you. You can change your lifestyle and have a different body, or you can continue on in the lifestyle that you have and accept the body that you have. But I'm going to assume by the fact you're listening to this podcast that you have some sort of motivation and determination to actually change your current situation. And if you do, you can change your lifestyle. You can do things differently. You can build some muscle. You can consume less calories. You can move your body more. And all of a sudden, this myth that we started this podcast with, that my metabolism is broken, is out the window. And then the third bit of hope is you can manage your sleep and your stress the best you can. Now, it doesn't mean you have to live a completely stress-free life, but in changing your lifestyle, in prioritizing your sleep, prioritizing managing your stress, in focusing on strength training and building muscle, all of these things eradicate that myth that you've believed for years that your metabolism is broken. Because I am still to meet anybody to this day whose metabolism is actually broken when they think it is. And when they really manage their stress, their sleep, their lifestyle, and they build some muscle, they see the results that they thought were impossible from their broken metabolism. So listen, as always, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate your feedback. And if you've gone for years thinking your metabolism is broken, and this has been a bit of a revelation for you, and you now understand what you might need to do to change your mindset with this, drop us a message. We'll be happy to hear from you. We'll be happy to work with you. We'll be happy to help you set up the correct things for building muscle, changing your lifestyle, improving your sleep and your stress. So drop us a message. We'll be happy to hear from you. We'll be happy to work with you. And in the meantime, I will see you on the next episode.